Well, hello, my name is James Leet, and I live in Tacoma, Washington with my wife and 2 kids, and we have a missional community on the hilltop of Tacoma, which is just up the hill from downtown. It's a neighborhood that has a lot of brokenness, but also a lot of beauty. There's predominantly low income, and it's a very diverse neighborhood with Puerto Ricans, blacks, Africans, Latinos, all over, just a mixture of folks who generally are having tough times. So it's an amazing opportunity that our missional community gets to serve and love people in that context. And our goal in being there is just to love people and bring them into a family with God as a Father, because He's richly blessed us with relationships with each other and good food and genuine love for each other. So we want to see more people who are feeling alone or who are alone to come and join us. As a missional community, we've learned how important it is to be in relationships with those we're serving and those who we live alongside. Our neighborhood in particular is full of folks who don't have enough to make ends meet and who really are struggling to get by. And so we get the opportunity to do life together with them. We realize that the core cause of poverty in the United States is broken relationships. And so in light of that, we really desire to have restored relationships with each other, and ultimately that folks could have restored relationships with God as their Father. Second thing we've learned is that food is a good thing. When we're able to bring food into our context, it really opens the door for relationships. Because at the end of the day, we're all going to eat. Everyone's going to eat. So for instance, in our context, we've done a lot of things around food in a way that's mutual, not in a way that's us serving people, but in a way that they contribute as well. So we do barbecues in our park where people bring sides to the park, and we provide the meat, and it's sort of this shared experience. We've also gone to a transitional housing program through the rescue mission here in Tacoma and ate alongside families where the rescue mission provided the food, and we just show up and eat with the families and just talk, and this just specifically to families who are working, who just don't have enough time to make a good, nutritious meal. Another thing we've done is do on Tuesdays, do Taco Tuesdays, where we just invite some kids who are just kind of alone, invite them in and have tacos with them. Really simple, really easy, but just really great way to have a concentrated time with people, to love them and serve them well. The third thing is really living where you're serving is another lesson we've learned. How important it is to live in the context that you're serving in. My first few weeks living on the hilltop, one of the kids, Justice, who we are getting to know, he sees the barbecue that we just rolled out into the park, and he looks at my little Honda Civic, and he asks himself, and he asks me, he says, "How'd you fit that barbecue into your little car?" Because you're coming here to do an outreach, right? You're coming here from somewhere else to serve us. And I told him, I said, I live here. I mean, this is my neighborhood. Your problem is my problem. And so we've learned that how important that is when we're just doing life, when we're just living, that the people we're serving, when they experience a gunshot, when they experience an accident, when they experience a fire, we experience it too. And so we're able to make disciples much, much more easily when we're doing life together. And I found so many more opportunities, and we as an MC have found so many more opportunities to reach people when we're just doing life. When I'm pulling weeds in the front yard, there's been so many gospel conversations. When I'm going on a walk with our dog, there's just been numerous times where the Spirit has opened up doors and brought people into deeper levels of faith. And so one thing we've learned about relationships being key, that's also been a big struggle, is building relationships that are lasting. And so I think the sin that's in the world and how that plays itself out through addictions and through just isolation and depression is a huge struggle that we've faced, and it's something that breaks our heart when we really care about people and care for people, and they really just have no interest. They don't want to. They choose a substance, or they choose to be alone over being in relationship with community and ultimately in relationship with a loving God. And so we've struggled as an MC in how to bridge that gap and how to not only the gap in race, but the gap in economic disparity, and just learning how to do that. That's been a huge struggle. One story in particular, a gentleman in our group, his name's John, and he went to a Soma gathering and was just greeted at the door and, welcome, brother. I'm glad you're here. And just that one word, brother, it communicated volumes to him that he's part of a family. He had been living at the mission. Well, he had been living outside when he came in, and then he learned about the mission and started staying there. And then he learned about our missional community, and he started coming. He was about an hour early each time because he really was hungry. He really wanted what we had. He had no family. He had witnessed his dad hang himself when he was 15, and his mom had committed suicide earlier in his life. And so he, at this point, at the age of 22, was alone and in Tacoma with nobody. And so he started coming to our missional community and started just getting involved and committed to what we were doing. And in a mutual way, he made us burgers. He made a huge pot of stew. He just really got involved, and through the process really came out of the rescue mission and lived in community with us, living in a house, and really just grew closer to Jesus. He participated in a Soma training throughout the summer, and just really desired to give back. And so he is one example of fruit, but really what he's taught us is more than what we could have taught him, because he has grown our hearts and softened our hearts a lot for those experiencing poverty. Another story, a gentleman who I'll call Henry. He is in his mid to late 50s, and he's been on the hilltop his whole life, born and raised. He's had a hard life. He's had some crack addiction. He's been shot. He has a mental disability from crack or birth. It's hard to tell. But he knocks on our door at least 2 or 3 times a week and just wants to hang out. One of these knocks happened to be after he was on a walk and he peed his pants and he needed to change of clothes. And so instead of just trying to hide it, he was just honest. He said, I need new pants and new underwear. And so after going back into my room and getting him new pants, new underwear, he changed and sits down. And as I'm making him tea, his fingers are quite arthritic and quite bent. And as I'm making him tea, I come back in with his tea, and he's folding our kids' laundry. He's folding our 3-year-old's laundry, which is tiny and takes little tiny, folds. But in that process of him humbling himself, asking for new clothes, and folding our kids' laundry, we learned about humility, and we learned about just an honest reality that we are made right with God because of Jesus. And so just that honesty that he brought has taught us a lot. And is he rich in the world's eyes? No. He smells, he's got a beard, he has got all kinds of barriers, but in God's eyes, he is loved, and he is genuinely loved by the Father. And he knows it, is the best part of all. He really knows it. So it's been an incredible thing to see and do life with Henry. He's a loving man. Another piece of advice that's really helpful is if you're going to start a work alongside those experiencing poverty, make sure you're in it for the long haul. A lot of churches and a lot of people I've worked alongside, and our missional community has worked alongside, have been really passionate up front and been prayer warriors and been very go-getting and just moving forward. And then 3 months later, they're gone. And the hole that vacates in a ministry or in the lives of people in poverty is huge. And so just know that you have an impact, with those you meet and those you know. And so as you make an impact, as you build those relationships, I encourage you to see it through, to trust God and patiently and persistently pursue relationships with those experiencing poverty. So another piece of advice is to be creative, to think outside the box, to really just allow the Spirit to move in people's hearts and lives so that you're not the author of their faith, but so that God is. There's a temptation to want to fix people and to solve their problems for them, but I strongly encourage you, if you're working alongside the poor and walking alongside the poor, to walk alongside them, to not run ahead of them and solve their problems for them, but to sit with them in their problems and allow them to feel the pressure, to feel the weight, to feel the stress of life, so that they can move forward and so that they can do it together, so that they don't have to be alone anymore, but that you are with them, and that the fragmentation and the isolation that they felt can be gone, and they can know that no matter what, Jesus is for them and is with them. And so as they see that, and as they feel that, and as they know that, they will know that God is for them. He is not against them. He has not forgotten about their cries for help. He has not forgotten about their pleas. Another piece of advice that I would give in working alongside the poor is to allow God to be God and recognize that we each have limits, and that is a gift, that God has given us limits so that we can trust him and depend on him with the lives of those we're serving alongside. If people are ready for change, then present the gospel in a way that will cause them to jump at the opportunity at a relationship with God. If people are not ready for change, then you get to be with them. You get to be in a relationship with them as Jesus loves them and serves them. But I encourage us as family not to think that it's up to us, or think that we have what it takes to serve people and to love people well. So as you reach out and embrace relationships with people in poverty, let's allow God to be God, and let's allow us to be limited people who want to love and serve them well.